Okay, so how's it going, guys? This is Rio Murata, photographer based in Tokyo. So in my previous video, I talked about a kit lens. It was more digital oriented, and a lot of you guys might have said, not directly to me, but in a corner, like, Rio, you traitor, where's your film camera? Where's your film shots? And I hear you, this is going to be on that topic. And in my previous video, I basically shot with digital outside. Indoors, actually, I actually brought my GW690 Mark III to Malaysia, actually. And instead of shooting outside because it's like really, humid and hot, I basically shot around or inside the hotel that I stayed in, which is Perdana, Kualumpur, Malaysia. And I was basically talking, you guys probably saw my previous video, I basically traveled with my dad to Malaysia on a really short trip of 2 days. And while I was before going to this trip, I basically talked with my dad and said, instead of like staying at a Western hotel, like not abusing those major chains or anything, but if you want to sort of like be embedded into that culture and that country, I thought it would be nice to stay in a hotel that's locally managed. So that's where we actually stayed in at Perdana, Kuala Lumpur, Malaysia, which is interesting enough close to Petronas Towers. It's roughly a 10-15 minute walk away, and it's a great location to stay. And I'm going a little bit off topic, but basically had 2 days, and because I was shooting mostly digital outside when like going to touristy areas within the hotel, I didn't have that much time, so I basically shot, especially in the morning actually, with my GW690 Mark III, as always with the Kodak 200 120 medium format film. What's kind of shocking about this time around was that my long exposure cable release actually broke down on me, and I was like, kind of, and it's hard to say into words because I was really depressed. And initially, I thought it's a 2-3 day trip. It's a really short trip. I would not need two cable releases, so I basically only brought one. But that one in particular broke down on me. The springs just snapped, and the cable release itself got separated as if it got departed in Titanic or something. And unfortunately to say, I kind of forced my way in this shoot, actually shooting inside the hotel. And if you ever shot in a hotel, it's really dark, so you want a sturdy tripod, have a film camera on there, have a cable release attached, and press the shutter. And you guys probably know GW690 is not the best camera to do long exposures, because in order to close the shutter mechanism, you have to change the apertures, etc, etc. And I thought it could never go as wrong as this time around, but I kind of managed to force my way through. And honestly, coming back home and just looking at the negatives, I was like really surprised. Like, I'm going a little bit off topic, unfortunately, but this was actually my first time that I traveled outside of Japan on an airplane carrying film. In addition to that, I had it hand checked at Haneda Airport departing during the customs and the security check and stuff like that. But after I reached in Malaysia, Kuala Lumpur, I became super lazy and I just basically chucked my film through the X-rays 2-3 times actually, 2 times getting off and 2 times coming back out of Japan. And obviously I did not stick it into my checked in baggage or anything, but I had it on as a carry-on. So my Gold 200 120 medium format film actually passed through X-rays like probably 4 or 5 times if I'm right. And looking at the negatives and looking at the scans, I did not notice any like fogginess, which appear if you do X-ray scans multiple times if you're like traveling long distances, and which was rather intriguing, rather fascinating in my eyes, because this was actually my first time. I also walked around the hotel, but unfortunately, right as like last month or so when I actually traveled there, they were doing so many like constructions, so it was actually not the best time to basically do long exposures outside. And you guys have guessed it, my cable release was long gone, so I couldn't do super long exposures, unfortunately. But I somehow managed to survive and come back, and yeah, just enjoyed just scanning them and just posting them for you. And I was actually delighted to see that. And also, it was a great experience bringing film outside of Japan, shooting and coming back, and just talking with the people who sort of like process my films for me about my trip, and also the negatives because they basically can't see it. So yeah, it was actually a great experience to just shoot and just wander around in the hotel. So yeah, if you're ever traveling to Malaysia, like Perdana is actually a great like hotel to like actually stay at. It's like walking distance from Petronas Towers. However, I just realized that, not touristy tips or something like that, but there weren't any like convenience stores like Japan actually around the hotel, so you're kind of stuck in one location. But if you're or like traveling around from the hotel to, I don't know, various like touristy sites using a Grab, it is a great location to be in. So yeah, hope you guys enjoyed this video, found it informative, and if you ever travel to Malaysia, I'm happy to know. Or at the same time, if you have any tips for traveling with film on airlines, I would love to hear it from you guys, because this was actually my first time, and there's a lot of people who watch my YouTube channel who travel a lot with film. I would love to hear some advices or any kind of way to sort of like not smuggle film outside the country, but bring film to another country without any like problems. So yeah, that's basically it. We'll see you next time. Peace out.